Hello my motor enthusiasts. You're tuned into F1 Motor Fever podcast, and today we're diving into the thrilling world of Formula One as the season swings back to Europe with the Spanish Grand Prix on the horizon.
The Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. A familiar track for the drivers, isn't it?
Absolutely, William. They've not only raced there numerous times, but also tested their cars on this circuit. Makes for some tight competition, wouldn't you say?
Quite right, Enzo. And speaking of competition, Max Verstappen is the man to watch, coming off a splendid win in Canada. He's the favorite again, isn't he?
He is indeed. His record here is formidable with back-to-back wins in the past 2 seasons. But let's not discount Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. Both have clinched a win this season and are right on Verstappen's heels.
It sounds like the stakes are high for McLaren and Ferrari as well, with the team dynamics varying from track to track.
True. And let's not forget the local heroes, Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso, aiming to impress at their home Grand Prix. The crowd will be behind them, no doubt.
Every point counts, especially with the midfield pack so tight. Teams like Red Bull and Aston Martin, if it rains, could really shake things up.
And amidst all this, the battle for the fastest lap could be a game-changer with those hardest compound tyres Pirelli's brought in.
Indeed, Enzo. With so many narratives unfolding, this Grand Prix promises to be an absolute cracker. Wouldn't want to miss a second of it.
Hey everyone. You already know me, this is Enzo.
And you're joined by William today.
At your service. Remember to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on any of our Formula One insights here on F1 Motor Fever podcast.
Hello.
Let's put the pedal to the metal. Just a quick detour, folks. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps us keep creating high-quality content for free. And don't forget to share it with your mates too. Remember, we'll live every day. On race weekends, we have special episodes. And Thursday mornings? That's when our extra-long special episodes drop.
Brilliant. Spot on, Enzo. Your likes really matter. Now, let's get back on track.
As Formula One returns to Europe, the Spanish Grand Prix is up next, and all eyes are on Max Verstappen, who's coming off a triumphant race in Canada. He's the favorite once again, and not just because of his current form. This circuit, the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, is where he claimed his very first Formula One victory. The track has seen him at his best, winning the last 2 seasons here.
Didn't quite catch that. What did you mean? Could you elaborate?
Certainly. What I meant was, Max Verstappen has a significant historical advantage here in Spain. This circuit is almost like his lucky charm. With his recent win in Canada, his confidence must be sky high, and that plays a huge role in a driver's performance. Now, Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc are not far behind in the odds, and it's been a tight race between McLaren and Ferrari this season. But Verstappen, with his track record here, is the one to watch. Moving on to qualifying, things are looking quite interesting with Max Verstappen leading the pack. However, the competition is heating up with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri right on his heels. Oscar Piastri, in particular, has shown some serious speed over 1 lap, grabbing second in the best qualifying so far this year. This weekend might just see him topping the timesheets.
That's intriguing. And what about Mercedes? They've had a tough season but seem to have found some pace recently.
Absolutely, Mercedes really seem to have turned a corner. George Russell managed to clinch the first podium for the team this year in Canada. This track was once a stronghold for the Silver Arrows, and they're showing signs that they might just regain some of that former glory. It's not just Russell, though. Both Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso are eyeing podium finishes too, especially Alonso, who's quite optimistic about securing a top 3 finish in front of his home crowd.
The battle for those podium places is going to be fierce then. With all top 4 teams in contention, Sunday's race promises some intense competition. What do you think?
It's going to be a nail-biter for sure. The field is closely matched, and with the circuit's challenging corners and fierce straights, it's anyone's guess who will come out on top. But let's not forget about the midfield battles. Yuki Tsunoda has been showing some exceptional form and could very well push into the top 6 this weekend. Daniel Ricciardo's form in Montreal was a reminder of his capabilities, and he's likely to carry that momentum into this race. Aston Martin, too, showed significant improvement in wet conditions last time, and with rain predicted for Sunday, they could be ones to watch.
That brings back memories, actually. When I was a lad, I used to race go-karts back in Birmingham, and I remember one particular race where it started pouring out of nowhere. Everyone was skidding and spinning, but somehow, I managed to keep my kart on track and finished second. It's those wet races that really test a driver's skill.
That's a brilliant anecdote, really highlights the unpredictability and the challenge of wet conditions. Back to Formula One, with the weather playing a potentially big role this weekend, teams like Aston Martin could really shake up the order.
Absolutely, and it's not just Aston Martin who might benefit. Keep an eye on Sergio Perez. Despite facing a 3-place grid drop, his skill in tricky conditions could see him making a significant lead during the race.
Very true. It's shaping up to be an exciting race with all these variables. And let's not forget about the midfield teams like Haas and Williams, who have been improving steadily. They might just find themselves in the points if things get chaotic up front. What do you think?
Indeed, the midfield battle could be just as thrilling as the fight at the front. With teams like Haas and Williams showing progress, any points they can grab here could be crucial for their season.
This weekend, Pirelli has decided to give the teams the hardest 3 compounds, which certainly adds an interesting dynamic to the strategy. With the soft C3 tyre in play, we could see some late bids for the fastest lap, especially from those with fresh air up front.
That's a fascinating point. The decision to hold back a set for a sprint at the end could really shake things up. Given how tight the Constructors' Championship is, grabbing that extra point for the fastest lap might be more tempting than ever.
Definitely. And speaking of points, McLaren has been performing exceptionally lately, moving ahead of Ferrari in the team standings. With both Norris and Piastri in formidable form, they could really make a statement this weekend.
True, and it's not just McLaren. If Perez doesn't quite back up Verstappen, Ferrari's duo of Leclerc and Sainz, who are both in top form, could capitalize. It's all still to play for.
And let's not overlook Mercedes. Although Hamilton didn't quite match Russell in Montreal's qualifying, he's always one to watch, particularly at a track where he has triumphed 6 times before. His experience and skill could see him fighting at the sharp end once again.
Absolutely, the experience counts enormously, especially on such a technically demanding circuit. It's going to be a thrilling weekend with all these elements coming into play.
With the rain expected on Sunday, the odds of seeing a safety car are split evenly. We've seen how crucial these moments can be in reshaping a race, haven't we?
Absolutely. The safety car can completely turn the tables, especially when teams and drivers least expect it. It's a factor that everyone will be keeping in mind, particularly with the unpredictable weather.
Speaking of the race dynamics, the track at Barcelona with its generous runoff areas and gravel traps might offer some relief compared to Canada's tight corners and looming walls. The likelihood of finishing the race looks good, with odds favouring over 16.5 classified drivers.
That's reassuring for the teams, especially those that had to retire early in Canada. Reliability seems decent so far across the board, so most should be crossing the finish line, barring any unforeseen mishaps with the new upgrades or race incidents.
And as for the winning margin, it's set to be another tight contest. The odds are reflecting just how close the competition has been this season. Whether it's Red Bull, McLaren, or Ferrari at the top this weekend, or perhaps another team sneaking up, the margin is expected to be quite narrow.
It's been a season of closely fought victories, indeed. And with the championship points so crucial at this stage, every second on the track counts. It'll be fascinating to see how the strategies unfold, especially in the latter stages of the race.
Certainly, the strategic decisions made during the race could be as influential as the driving itself. It seems set to be an enthralling Spanish Grand Prix, with plenty at stake for all the teams and drivers involved. William, what's the word on the street, internet-wise?
Right, listen to this. User Ferrari strategist said, quote, "I don't think it's my fault. The F1 season is very exciting," unquote. Max Verstappen rejects any notion he and Red Bull are the reason for reduced British GP ticket sales.
Here we go.
Then Secure Hedgehog adds, quote, "Didn't they introduce surge pricing for Silverstone? So the price increases as demand increases. The press are trash," unquote.
That explains a lot.
And Bozo7 says, he decided to book literally last night and noticed prices jumping from £499 to £550 and back when he refreshed the page. He even suggests opening the site in a different browser engine to avoid the price hike.
Blimey, that's a bit cheeky, isn't it?
Absolutely, and there's more. Steering Wheel chimed in advising to try using the cheapest and oldest Android phone you might find, as possibly the prices will be lower when browsing with your iMac, suggesting that the pricing could be based on the device you're using.
That's quite cunning of them.
Indeed. Lou Lullaby mentioned it could also be due to cookies, quote, "Can also be because of cookies revisiting the page increasing prices. Clear cookies or use incognito," unquote. And fish walking can't believe it's legal, calling it, quote, ridiculous and predatory, unquote.
Blimey, the language here's a bit ripe. If I read that out, we might lose our sponsors.
Beat the Heat suggests the only way to demand change is with your wallet, but McFly824 doubts it, noting that blaming the sports star driver rather than their surge pricing means your message might not be heard.
It's a proper pickle, isn't it? Everyone's got a point.
Right, and it's not just about the pricing strategy. That guy Bob was appalled by the pricing for certain tickets, mentioning how much they'd charge if they introduced a sprint race at Silverstone. Makes you think, doesn't it?
It sure does, William. It's a reminder of how complex the business side of sports can be, especially in Formula One. Thanks for tuning into F1 Motor Fever podcast today. We've had a riveting discussion about the ins and outs of Formula One pricing strategies and the influence of weather on race day strategies. It's always brilliant having you with us. Remember to subscribe and activate notifications so you won't miss any of our future discussions. Your engagement truly makes a difference. Share our content on your social platforms, be it WhatsApp, Facebook, TikTok, or Twitter. And don't be shy to drop us a comment, we love hearing from you.
Absolutely, and who knows what the next race might bring. Make sure you're tuned in, we're here every day, bringing you the freshest insights and a bit of banter to boot. And hey, next time, I might even share a secret or two about the pit lanes.
We're incredibly grateful for your support and enthusiasm. Looking forward to having you with us on the next episode of F1 Motor Fever podcast.
It's always a pleasure, isn't it? Here's to many more discussions, laughs, and, of course, thrilling races.
Absolutely, William. And remember, everyone, pedal to the metal, keep your gaze on the road, our channel's content is pure gold.